Going on, guys? It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's time for Proper Royals Live. I hope all of you down south and east are enjoying a little snow. I sent it your way from me. We could talk about it tonight. I got Jeremy and Genie Baud from Bauds Exotic Reptiles on the show. It's Proper Royals Live. Did you see the lag when I hit the video? I was like, all right, I built up the drama. Let me hit click so that the video will play. And it's just this lag. And then you don't know if you actually hit the button or not. Anyway, welcome to the age of streaming and different internet speeds and all this technology. Anyhow, welcome. We got a great show tonight with Genie and Jeremy Baud, two of my absolute favorite people in the industry. I'll tell you all a little bit about it in here in just a few minutes, but definitely some of the people that helped me the most, influenced me and encouraged me at a time when I was really pretty uncertain about things. So anyway, and they've been just great to work with along the way. Anyhow, I really enjoy them, and I'm glad to have them both on the show. We'll dive into that very shortly. Welcome to everybody in the audience as well. I think everybody is like cold across America tonight. I hope that all of your temps are good, your equipment's functioning. I can tell you if it's not, you're not alone. I actually literally just before I came on the air, I'd already even sent Genie and Jeremy back to the green room. I just checked temps on my boiler and I'm having an issue with that again. So after the show, I get to go on a little field trip and fix that. So buy a car wash. They said it'll be fun. Minnesota's a good place to do that, especially in January. Fantastic. So I get to that tonight a little bit later, send you an update later. So a couple quick announcements, not too much going on. Sales are kind of slow with the weather. You can't really ship. Everybody's on hold, all of that. So I'm feeling a little antsy and anxious, but it'll be fine. February 2nd, I get back to vending in person at the Cold-Blooded Expos show here in Minneapolis, February 2nd. So that's that's only going to be a week from this Sunday. Nice. So it's only about 10 days away, which is pretty sweet. So I'll be there. It's a great show. It has a kind of a big show feel. So come on out if you're in the area. You've probably been cooped up with cabin fever and all that indoors at the State Fairgrounds. So I will be there. That's a Cold-Blooded Expos show. Quick pop for Cold Blooded Cafe. They work with me in various places around the Proper Royals brands and shows, but not on this one particularly. But I do want to let you all know, because for a long time they were a sponsor of this show. The Proper 11 code has been reset. If you haven't used it in the past few weeks, you should be able to use it again. You do have to log in with your email, and then at checkout you can apply the promo code Proper 11. You're going to get 11% off of your order of frozen rodents from Cold Blooded Cafe. So go check them out. That is new for you. Speaking of sales and animals for sale, I got to run them up the line. What's the corporate thing? I only run it up the flagpole. I don't know, whatever it is. Let me run it past my the Proper Royals Patreon group first. They get first dibs on all animals. But I just got a bunch of shed tests back this very evening from Charlie at shedtesting.com. Fast. I didn't mark down the day that I shipped them, but I bet I mailed those out maybe last Tuesday. I'm looking at the date. Maybe. Anyway, very fast turnaround time. Direct results right into my Instagram inbox. Why I'm telling you that first is because I like Charlie and he does a great job, and obviously he takes great care of the show. You can get a little promo here. You'll see the banner in just a moment. But I had a whole lot of clowns, Enchi clowns, super Enchi clowns that were all either 50% or 66% het for Ultramel. Those tests came back. A number of you have reached out to me saying that you're interested in some. If you'd like to get on that list, I'll let you know, because I wasn't sure what I'm going to make available until I start to get the test back, but now I have. And then I have the flip side of that. I have ultra males that were either 50 or 66% het clown, and some of those will start to be available. So if there's anything in that project that you're looking for from that combination, I might have it to make available, because I hit some double visuals, and I hit some double visuals with codoms in them as well. And I'm going to keep some of the females that do prove, but I might be able to shuffle some things around. If there's something in that project that you're looking for, either an ultramale het clown or a clown het ultramale. And again, the clown het ultramales are Enchi and super Enchi as well. So I got to look at what's going to be available. Those results are starting to come in. So hit me up, send me a message on that. Those of y'all that already have, I will get back to you. And then, of course, like I say, Patreon, the stuff that I make available will go to you all first. That's about it. Next week on the show, we have Beauty and the Bauds. I feel bad. I think they're from Birmingham, but they might be Huntsville, Alabama. Anyway, they're a great couple of breeders from Alabama. They're expanding rapidly. I've only met them briefly in person, but it was at Daytona. We had a really good time. It was cool to hang out and vend somewhat in the same area. I got to know them a little bit. And as I was booking this year, I was like, you know what? They're doing some cool stuff. Let's get them on the show. So they'll be on next week. That's Beauty and the Bauds next week on the show. And of course, Thursday morning with my sidekick, Joe, Proper Cup of Joe, Thursday mornings. Look at that. You say Charlie's name and he pops up. Thanks for the good news this evening, Charlie. I'll share some of that once I get it all together and organized with the audience. Jeremy and Genie Baud from Bauds Exotic Reptiles. If you don't know them, you should absolutely follow them on Instagram. They're doing wonderful stuff with animals. Really cool, like literal, like menagerie at the house. I mean, they're if we didn't know what an actual zoo looked like and we were just like, hey, it's a great collection of these animals, you would call what they have a zoo. It's fantastic, the variety of species and the care and the really kind of the ingenuity too. The layout of their property is fantastic. Anyhow, we'll get into some of that tonight. But Jeannie and Jeremy, there was a time when I had just left my career, and Jeremy didn't know any of this. I had never met them. We'd never spoken before at all. And I think about this a lot because it's special to me, but also I think it's a good model for people to think about and hear sometimes. And somebody had just canceled doing my show, and my show wasn't very well known at the time. And I'd only been at it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And it felt like I'd worked really hard at it, but it didn't feel like it was going anywhere. And then somebody canceled, and I had to do an episode solo, which was just nerve-wracking. And like I say, I was pretty insecure about it. And frankly, I was insecure about the whole thing. I just left my job. I'd just taken the leap to try and start like 2 businesses, consulting and this whole reptile thing, which was still kind of a weird pipe dream. It still is, but it really was then. I got a little more proof of concept now. And Jeremy reached out to me unsolicited. And I think the message was something like, keep doing what you're doing. I can't listen to anybody talk by themselves for more than a few minutes. And I actually listened to your whole podcast for an hour of you talking all by yourself. He said, it's amazing, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. It'll catch on. And it was like completely the gas in the tank that I needed and completely the encouragement that I needed. So if there's somebody doing something cool and it occurs to you that it's cool, just take the time to tell them it's cool. You never know what somebody else is going through or what they need and that kind of thing. And from then on, I made a point of trying to become friends with Jeremy and Jeannie. They welcomed me to their home, gave me a tour of the property. Always a good sounding board when I had purchase or buying, purchase and buying. Those are closely related. Purchase or breeding questions or husbandry or care. And then, of course, Jeremy was kind enough to include me on a vision that he had for a massive US ARC auction, which was a custom guitar. I hate to use the word built, but it's sort of hot rod. You know how like people hot rod cars? It doesn't mean they made the car, like they didn't fabricate the metal, but they put it all together. And that's was how that guitar was for me. And that became that guitar that has brought in tens of thousands, several tens of thousands of dollars over the years to US Ark. So anyhow, I could ramble on, but you came here to see them. So please welcome back to the Proper Royal stage, Jeremy and Genie Baud. What's going on, guys?
Hi.
How you doing?
I am good. How are you all doing?
Good.
Doing pretty good. Pretty good. Hey, that guitar, from what I understand, it's going to be an annual donation.
In Daytona.
That's what I understand, that they're trying to do it where every year it gets redonated, so it'll just keep bringing back. So
I hope so. It'd be amazing if I mean, it's already been amazing. When you start talking multiple tens of thousands of dollars, like that's a portion of somebody's salary a year, like a good chunk of it, and that's what that's led to. Who has it now? Is it Snakes at Sunset that has it now?
Oh gosh,
I'm not sure.
I
I think
who won it in Daytona.
Didn't somebody win it and redonate it again this year?
I
can't remember.
I don't know. It was kind of a crazy thing because we had the bike.
Yeah,
right,
we had the bike going on, so we're like paying attention to that, and then we're trying to keep an eye on the guitar thing and
all that craziness going on.
I think it went to I think Eugene bought it the first year and then donated it to US Ark Florida, and Daniel really pumped it up. We worked on that, and then I thought Jesse at Freedom Breeder had it.
Yeah, but then he put it back in again last year.
So I think it's Snakes at Sunset. I think I could be wrong. If anybody knows, they can tell us. So what about the bike? Who's got the bike now?
Chris, Adam.
Yeah, Chris. Adeline, Adeline, yeah, it's her husband.
Yep.
He didn't win it though. Who won it? They won
it. Timberline.
And they
gave it to him because they knew he loved bikes, and he was totally surprised by the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that went for, what, 20 grand?
Yeah,
I think it was $20,000 that bike went for.
I think it was Timberline, but for some reason I was thinking maybe it was Sea Serpents too. Not Sea Serpent. It wasn't Chris.
No, it wasn't.
It was Timberline. Okay, Timberline. Yeah. Let's give the right credit here. Well, cool. What you got something cooking for this year yet? Are you taking the year off?
No, because everything's been crazy now.
I've just been concentrating on, rebuilding our house. We got 2 houses that got messed up and everything. Just been kind of working on that. It's weird. I usually get the ideas 3 or 4 months before Daytona, so.
And then he rushes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll have, not that you don't have enough going on or enough that you're working on. We'll talk about that in a minute. But who knows? Maybe you'll get like some, there's always like leftover materials or something that you see and you're like, well, here's the tools and there's the stuff. I mean, you may as well throw it together, right?
What came to mind was a kitchen cabinet offhand.
Donate a cabinet. Should have saved one of our old moldy ones,
Oh my gosh. You could do like a like the mystery boxes are what you first kind of got known for. You should do like a big kitchen cabinet of a mystery box and be like, this stays sealed each year until it's full, and then it'll get auctioned off. Could you, man, it'd be a ton of money in there.
Neat.
Yeah.
We were thinking about doing another bike. A lot of people said to do that, but then I was like, we already did that once, I'm going to come up with different. So we'll see if usually it's just like I'll wake up in the middle of the night at 3 in the morning and I'll have an idea, and then I'll just go off of that. So I haven't got that 3 o'clock wake up yet with the idea. So
well, I think we've had a lot of other wake ups.
It's true. You've had your share of 3 a.m. wake ups. And obviously big credit to Steve Casino as well. That was a partnership with you guys, right? Steve's Morse?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's really kind of how I came across on the guitar thing too. Cause you just texted me out of the blue one day. You're like, hey, do you have a guitar for sale? And I was like, yeah, I do. I didn't know you played guitar. And you're like, I don't, I need one. I'm like, what in the world are you doing?
Oh, gosh.
So, and I still have those 2 girls that we worked out in the female, the snakes, not the people. Yeah, I still have them. They those 2, both of them. I think they're sisters. They both just did that. Most of my snakes don't do that 1,000-gram thing. Like they haven't eaten in probably 6-7 months, man. Like this was going to be the year, and when they just stop, and you're like, they're not like sick. They're not, you know, you can tell the difference in their behavior and their poo and all that when they're sick. They're not sick. They're just shut off, you know. So
I have siblings where I'll keep like 3 girls back or something, and then one of them will be like that, and the other 2 will do great, you know. So
that's yeah. I don't really think there's any. I don't think it's because of their relationship. I think it's just that it's just
it just happened.
Yeah, just coincidental that they're that way. So anyhow,
like geckos, they can, you know, you can have a year-old at 27 grams and another one at 18 grams, you know.
Just
really depends.
Yeah, and they were healthy. They were eating, just smashing food, and then they just stopped. They're there. Like I say,
Sarah says feed them gerbils.
I know. Yeah, that's their that's
had anything gerbils yet. I haven't tried it, but I've heard she mentioned that before.
Yes.
Yeah, Sarah and Josh, they swear by the gerbils, and Casey said he had some luck this week on gerbils as well. So maybe I need to go get some gerbils in there. I feel bad like lamenting that I have anything going on when I'm talking to somebody who had their just literal house destroyed, but I'm like, I got enough going on. I can't go track down gerbils right now. I was joking on the phone with Chris Eaton the other day. I was like, you're no good. I can't complain to you. What am I going to complain about? That I was like, I got both legs and I haven't had a stroke. Like I can't complain about anything to that guy.
You could say you have 2 toes that you can stub, you know, I mean,
right, that's true. So, well, tell us, not to pour any salt in any wounds, but tell us about the hurricane. Obviously you went through it. I know there was a big groundswell of support at the time. One thing I always huge.
Yes. Without that, I don't know. We might have sat down and cried for days. It was pretty, I don't know. It was something that we've never experienced, and I hope we don't ever have to again.
Right. I know there was a massive groundswell. I always worry about like when that first wave of support goes away, and then like you're just like, oh, now it's still real. And it was great to have that. Don't get me wrong, but you know. So anyway, how's the progress? So and real quick, like when we say your house, what did you have? 2-3 feet of water through the house? See, right?
Well, in the reptile house, there was 28 inches in the reptile house, and our main house it's up a little bit, so we only had about 7 to 8 inches. But the problem is that it just soaked everything. So
the main house, you've been here, you got to step up a couple steps to get inside,
right?
But there's the pool house or the guest house where all the reptiles are is a slab, but it's not elevated like as much as this house is. But this is also a wood frame house with a crawl space, so not only was water coming in like through the doors, it was coming up through the floors.
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, because it was because it's a crawl space and you have the wood floors and the subfloor and all that. There was a lot more damage to this one than to the back house.
Oh, so right.
The back house is a slab with tile, so that could just be like cleaned and mopped up and all that. Obviously, the drywall.
And we don't have kitchen in there or anything, so.
Yeah, there's a vanity that's in the bathroom, a couple doors, some baseboard, and you know things like that has to be replaced out there. I haven't even started out there yet. I've been just trying to do this house.
It is all ripped out, like the drywall, so there's no mold growing or anything.
Right? Yeah. You get it ripped out and you treat that and then just dry it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's just replacing now, but we had to work on our main house first to make it livable because our youngest daughter lives here with us and her bedroom's on the main floor. Mm-hmm. So she had to leave and go live with our other daughter in order to have a place to stay.
Right.
So.
Yes, our second floor is our bedroom. So we were able to stay here. Mm-hmm. And I did all the work. I'm doing all the work myself. Like the only person I had to hire was air conditioning. Yeah. I don't have the equipment or the knowledge to
and
do
the
any
roof
of that
repair when the tree fell on the house after.
Oh yeah. And that was like a few days later, right? Like you got through, not like you got through, but you dealt with all that first stuff, and then the tree comes down.
Tree fell and smashed her car, which was already shot anyways. Yeah. Both our vehicles got destroyed because of the water.
Was it flooded? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
what about the what did you get? At least not at least, but I guess if there's a bonus or benefit, you had a little heads up that it was coming, although these things turn at the last second. We've seen that in Florida the past few years with them turning. But what about the animals? What do you do?
So the first hurricane, Helene, they told us that the surge was supposed to stop. You know, the news was saying around 11 o'clock. And, you know, so we're keeping an eye on it and all that. And around 11 o'clock, it didn't even get to the bottom of our cars yet, where the doors are. And it was barely coming, hasn't even come into our main house yet. It was in our back house, but not up to our house here.
Nothing like that was severe.
So long story short, the news was wrong. It didn't stop coming in until like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, in the main house, it stopped coming in. It was 3:30. He was out in the back house. I was in the main house making sure all the geckos were okay and moved and everything. And he was in the back house with all the other animals, you know, just making sure that they were okay, which everybody was fine. But the water didn't stop coming in until it was 3:30 in the morning, because I could watch the flood line. It's kind of weird how you just like all of a sudden you just watching this water like flow right into your house.
Yeah. So there is a time. All right. So you know how it is. So the back house, I got sandbags and all that stuff. So I have a window on my door. So I stand up on this table after walking through the water and all that. I stand up on the table to look inside the window to see the level inside the snake house. So outside the door, it was at this level. Inside, it was this level. When you open the door up, it opens inwards. And I'm watching the levels. I already had to raise everything up from the bottom tub to the next level up.
Yeah.
You know, and past 11 o'clock, you know, I figured one level up was good enough for all the animals. So I'm watching it go higher and higher. So I had to open up that door. Remember, the water's outside of the house here. Inside, it's like this.
Yeah, suddenly equalized, huh?
I would open that door, water would start flushing in there. But I had to do that because I had to lift up all the animals to the second level, to the third level now.
Yeah.
So as soon as I did that, then you got all that pressure pushing in on the door, you know, because water's is, you know, coming in. So I had to sit there and try to push the door shut, close it. Now I'm in a rush to move everything up the next level. So I go around the whole building, moved everything up to another level, just putting snakes in with other snakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
By the time I got to the end, I look again, it's gotten up that much higher because I had the door open. So I had to go back and start over again. Meanwhile, the refrigerator's floating because it fell over. It's floating.
I did see that picture. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's that same picture. One of my incubators fell, had all my rhino eggs and tortoise eggs. So they got all shot.
Meanwhile, I'm in here and all of a sudden I start smelling the water's coming in and I'm just taking care of, you know, the dogs, the cats, and the geckos. I smell something burning. And it smells like electrical.
Yeah.
So then I go into the kitchen where I'm smelling it. And at this point, the water's ankle deep in the house. I look at the stove. Well, there's smoke coming from behind the stove. So I'm trying to call him to tell him, hey, you know, this stove is catching fire. And he's like, can you unplug it? I'm like, absolutely not. I'm standing.
Yeah, that's the heavy duty. That's that's the serious stuff there.
That's what it was. It was the oven receptacle that was doing that.
Yeah,
and it's weird because it didn't trip the breaker. So one of the things I had to do is you know, because the first story of the house is built in 1950s, it's a subfloor.
Okay.
All the wiring is run underneath and going up.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things I had to do is change all the wiring. So all the wiring, I had to crawl underneath the crawl space, which is like 1.5 feet. And while I was doing that, changing all that, I did all myself. If I was to hire an electrician, it would have cost between $3,000 and $5,000. Took me 3 days. Easy. Not more.
Yeah.
Took 3 days, about $400 or $500 in material to do it, you know, but now I know it's all done. And back in the day, they used wire cloth wiring, which is basically black and white, no ground. So everything's grounded out and everything, you know, so.
Oh, wow. Oh, I was going to ask, when the water was raising on your racks, had you already taken off the heat panels of your racks, or the word I wrote down here was, what do you do about electrocution if you got water coming up over your heat panels and you're wading around in it, man?
Well, when I built that back house, I built all the receptacles 5 foot up.
They were up.
Yeah. Okay.
So the receptacles were okay, but no, I did not disconnect the heat panels. So we had to get new ones for the bottom racks and all that.
So they just shorted out and fried.
I unplugged everything after the water started getting up to, kind of high. I just unplugged all the thermostats and everything. So
yeah. What about your
things? Oh, no, let me just say this before I forget. It's kind of gross, but it was a weird thing to witness when I did have to run out the very last time to the snake house just to check on things. The water was 32 inches outside. Like I measured to the fence line where you could tell where the water stopped.
Right.
When I was wading through that water, I looked down 3 o'clock in the morning. All you see is like palmetto bugs and beetles climbing up my shirt.
Oh,
it looked like I was wearing a skirt because they're all trying to get high ground.
Yeah.
Well, here I am just knocking all these bugs off me. It's mainly beetles and palmetto bugs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
now what about the outdoor animals? Yes, the tortoises and
they were all.
We had already brought them all in.
Yeah, they were all taken.
They were all inside, so that was pre-planned, just in case. But if you think about it, this house has been here since 1950, and there's never been a flood here.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, because the flooring was the old oak flooring, the original flooring that I had to rip up.
Wow.
And I could tell by the the materials I used to attach it that it was all from the original. So the flooring was never replaced. So there was never a flood here before. So.
Yeah. Wow. What about my favorite place on the property? What about the rodent building?
I raised those up already. I just, but it got to the point where I wasn't able to, how I had to do the snakes. I had to go up an extra level. Yeah. So there was, I think, one rack that I missed where I didn't move them up. So yeah, they ended up.
It
flooded out. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that.
The next day, man, what it is to get one flooded tub. Yeah. Imagine your whole, I have a 55-gallon trash can that I keep all my clean bedding and stuff in,
Right. Yep.
All that stuff floats. But, if you got 30 inches of water, that stuff floats.
Everything
all that stuff fell over. When I walk in, I don't think I took a video of the worst part when I walked in there, but I have tubs floating around. I got a refrigerator that's floating around that I'm sitting there pushing out of the way just to get the things. Bedding and sheds. I had a bunch of sheds waiting for Charlie that they got all destroyed, lost a bunch of thermostats, like I said, one of the incubators fell over. Thanks to Chris, I sent him an email or called him or texted him. The incubator still worked. Believe it or not, it fell straight down.
Yeah.
It was so sealed tight that even though the eggs, they slammed down and they were bad, but the heat and all that stuff still worked on the incubator. The other thing is the hinges and the locks got rusted. So I asked him, I said, hey man, can you tell me where you got these from or where you get them from? Or can you send me some and let me know how much it is? And you just don't worry about paying. I'll send you, give me your address and we're good. So
yeah, those sea serpents.
Yeah.
And I have to say, all our friends around here in the reptile community really pulled together and helped us. They came over the next day. Jen from Cigar City was one of our...
Wait, is it Cigar City or is it Cigarette Town?
No. I'm like, what are you talking about? She was, messaging me immediately like, hey, Rob, her husband is off. He can come help, and he come down and help. And they came for like several days to help. And then when we had the second hurricane come in, she texted me. I remember this. She's like, when are we coming to evacuate you?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's hold on a minute. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's wait and see what the next advisory says. And I swear, literally 2 minutes after the advisory was out, she messaged me and she goes, "What time are we coming tomorrow?"
Yeah. How about now? Yeah.
There's like no options. And she literally rallied about 10 people and they were all at our house.
Yeah. With
Just
trucks
trailers,
and trailers,
like
and
everything,
helping.
just moving all the animals, tubs, you know, just bags, everything that you could think
snake
of.
bags. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to give it to
opened her
Shane
home
and
to us.
Jessica from Holdback Rack and Small Town Exotics.
Oh, how cool. Yeah.
So they actually did an auction for us. Actually, my daughter started. She asked me if I wanted her to do it, and I told her, I said, absolutely not. We're not doing that.
I remember talking to you. That was
she wanted to
I
do
got
it.
too.
I mean, like, we're not doing that. We're not trying to ask, you know, we'll get through it. I've been through things before, you know, but she did it anyways, you know, and then Shane, he calls me up and he goes, "Hey, I know you're going to hate me for doing this, but we're going to do an auction for you." I'm like, "Are you serious?" But I'm kind of glad they did, because our homeowners insurance covers anything, any of your other buildings or trailers or anything on your property. But your flood insurance, and we weren't aware of this. We just assumed it was the same. So flood insurance, you have to have a separate policy for everything.
For that back house.
So our homeowners insurance also covers all of our furniture and stuff like that as well. But our flood insurance didn't. And we just were ignorant to not know that, you know, so we didn't have any insurance on the back house or any of our furniture.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. So all of our furniture was out in the road. I mean, it was all.
It was
you got to think
mountains.
that not only was it salt water and stuff, but they shut the sewer systems down, so it was also poop water.
Yeah.
You know, so it was pretty disgusting. You know, so that was all through all of our furniture and flooring and you know, it's just.
Yep.
You got to get rid of all that. So, you know, big shout out to Shane for doing the auction.
I mean, everybody.
And everybody that was involved
Alberto,
with it. Yeah, there's a ton of people that helped
Mark
us
and
across
Cheryl.
the board, and
we can't thank them enough for all the help that they did for us.
Yeah. You said you were ignorant to it, like it was your fault. Like, they don't make that stuff easy to understand. That's, in my opinion, that is the goal of that industry, is to figure. I mean, they're in business to make money, and that's what they do. But the flood insurance situation, I guess everywhere, but certainly in Florida, that's where I had experience with it. It's just a nightmare, and it's not convenient. It's not easy to see. It's expensive as hell, and they have these zones that, as you all found out, you don't have a flood for 75 years in the place. Maybe you don't get the insurance, even if you do know about it. And, you know, anyway.
Well, and that was what the FEMA guy said. He goes, yeah, they're meant. Our jobs are meant for them to not get paid, for us to get paid.
Yeah.
Save the insurance money.
Our neighborhood is still kind of like a ghost town.
There's only
there's only a few of us living here right now, because a lot of people had their homes paid off. And if you have a mortgage, they require you to have flood insurance.
Right.
You can tell which ones had their houses paid off because they haven't done anything yet. You know, they just didn't have the money for it or whatever. So
and even just every time your phone buzzes, it's like you ate some tacos earlier or something.
That was Genie, by the way.
Oh, no.
I mean, I don't know who's had the burritos, you know, but
I don't think.
Well, hey, you know what? Here's the thing. You know, at the end of the day, it actually works out great for us because, one, we wanted to the place needed to be remodeled. There's always a bright side to everything.
Sure.
And two, where I work, believe it or not, you know, I'm a licensed cabinet installer. And I work for one particular cabinet place that does new construction. And I have a few friends that are over there too that are working. And they
said you're a subcontractor.
Yeah, I'm a subcontractor. But they said they're really slow right now, which is kind of crazy. You would think they'd be super slammed with all the damage that was done.
Right, the rebuilding, yeah.
So they said they're lucky to be working 2 or 3 days a week right now. They're supposed to get a lot busier in another month or so because they picked up a bunch of new builders or something. But anyways, so because of me working here and I'm doing all the work myself and I'm paying myself to do it, what I normally would be getting paid, or if I was to hire a contractor, so I'm actually staying really busy, working 12-hour days sometimes, being able to pay myself what I normally would get paid, and then remodeling the house that kind of needed it anyways. So it's kind of like a bittersweet thing. It sucks that what we went through and all that, but at the end of the day, there's always something good out of something,
in the bright side.
Yeah.
That was the perfect word, saying bittersweet. My smile or my laugh there wasn't like, it really wasn't a laugh. It was like that bittersweet, like, well, shoot, if you can look at it that way, that's how you get through stuff. That's that resilience piece. It's not, I know I didn't live through I didn't live through Hurricane Andrew, but my mom and her husband.
You're still here, so you did live through it. I mean, it's not like
that's true. It didn't kill me, so I guess I did. I wasn't in the midst of it. Kike was there; he knows. But we moved.
He lived through it too.
I was here too.
Yeah, I was in Tampa when it hit Miami. I was watching on the news, and I remember that was the first time I ever missed school because of a hurricane. I was like, really? They call school for this? Okay. But I was there immediately after, and those pictures of your street that you showed reminded me of it. And there are, I don't know, to say to this day is still a little bit dramatic, but for easily 2 decades after it, Kike was there, and he can attest to it. For easily 2 decades after it, there were these we just called them roads to nowhere, because they would just dead end, like they were the old cul-de-sacs, but there was no neighborhood around it. It was just all overgrown, and maybe the house had been torn down, maybe it hadn't been, and all of that. And so I hope that it rebounds faster than that. But you're right about the if your house is paid off and you can't or it's impossible to get insurance in Florida in some situations without buying a new roof, or it's an exorbitant price. You go, man, I've had a good run. I'll just insure it myself. And then, it's not so easy to do when it's
not, because it's a lot of money. All the materials have gone up in price.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure even if it hadn't, you guys, if you were doing it to like pay contractors, or you hadn't had any insurance benefit, I'm sure it would have been $100,000 of repairs, huh? Got to be getting close to that, and labor and
like 120,000.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And that's not even the back
that's not
house.
Even the snake house.
Or
oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, or the vehicles, or the tree falling and damaging
or
the roof and all that.
Contents, the furniture in the house, or any of that.
Oh, so you guys not to get into your business, but it didn't cover the cars?
No, well, our car insurance did.
Got it. Okay, yeah. I got you. Okay, all right. So that's a different story. We're talking about the repair.
New vehicles and put new down payments, and our vehicles were almost paid off.
And so I have a work trailer.
Right.
I can't remember if I showed pictures of that or not. But when the tree fell, it fell on my work trailer, which pretty much got flooded out anyways. I have to carry a generator with me, so that was shot. But the tree fell on it, destroyed the trailer, and the insurance. The trailer's like a $3,000 trailer. Then I probably lost, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000 in tools that was in there.
Yeah.
And the insurance only did $1,000 for everything.
Oh, for the whole
the whole thing, yeah. So
that doesn't even, like, I used to tell people, like, a craftsman's like toolbox or toolkit or tool set, that's just years of accumulation, because there's not like a checklist that you fill out for it. You're like, I need this one day, and another project you need that. I used to tell people, I'm like, I don't want people to steal my guitars, but what I really don't want to lose is my music bag. That's all my variety of cables, different microphone, all the little things,
all that little stuff adds up.
Yeah, big time. So
the majority was damaged because of the flood, but the trailer was shot because of the
just the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, I have a tough time seeing, like, I know it sounds like cheesy to say, but I have a tough time like seeing friends like suffer or whatever, and I can't do anything. And I think even when I called you, Jeremy, I was like, I don't even know what to say, man, other than just trying to tell you I think of you for whatever the hell that's worth, which feels like completely useless, So, but then I see, and I can't remember what order things were. So I kind of like just shut down, and then I see the tree on top of it all. I was like, oh my God, dude, what? Oh my gosh. What is
that was the day I cried.
There are many worse things that happen to other people, you know, so don't feel bad for us, you know, I mean, or I appreciate everybody that reached out and helped and everything, but you know, things could always be worse.
Yep.
Always.
So,
well, and I was thinking, even when I like I get bogged down in like our news, like our news in America, and I'm like, Adam, do you know all the stuff in the world that's going on that we have no idea of, that we can't possibly report on? And I'm like, either watch the news or don't, but don't get into this woe is me, can't handle stuff, you know? So I have to kick my own butt sometimes. So, anyway, how about we move on? What's the future look like? How about, what are you excited about? You getting new species, new pairings, new projects? I know you got some new genes that you've stumbled into lately. What are you guys excited about coming up here?
Well, the last thing you just said, I'm kind of excited for that.
The new gene?
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about that?
You can if you want. Yeah.
Of course he wants.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear
it.
Let's hear it, Adam. Let's talk about it. No, just kidding. No, so I just happened to come across what I believe is the tornado gene, which is like I'm doing 2 more pairings this year just to really nail it down to make sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I talked to D&J, which is the guy that originated the tornado in the UK. He seems to pretty strongly that it is. I've talked to a few other people in the UK, a few people here in the States and everything. I got some really, really crazy offers on the stuff that I got, but I just want to work with it myself. And before I even release any of it, I just want to really, really make sure that that's what it is.
Well, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to say too, like you and I have talked a little bit behind the scenes about this, but like when you say, I think I got this, it's not like somebody just walking through the show being like, I think there's something going on here. What do you think? And you're like, that's a normal. And it's not like first you could tell from the pictures, but second, like you say, you reached out to the originator. And then like, to me, what really validates it is when known names are thrown around, what would we say, mid 5 figures for valuation on it. Then, you're like, well, I got something. I don't care what you guys call it, but it's something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say, without saying too much, I won't say who or anything, but I've been offered over 30,000 for one of those.
Okay. There you go.
There's only, as far as I know, there's only 4 people in the United States with the project, and only 2 of us have visuals, and only 1 of us have visual males.
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to have 2 visual males.
I was going to say, you keep using the plural there. How many you got? You got 2 males. Do you have any females?
Not visuals. No, just I have some desert ghost pieds that could be, but I'm not sure what that would look like.
So would that mean the others are 66% hets? You're gonna
everything else, all the others are 66. So how I come across this is I had, when I first started 2016-ish, I started getting clutches my very first year because we bought a hatchling and then bought 2 more hatchlings. Then I saw somebody with a collection for sale.
And that's when I got a text at work. I think I want to start breeding pythons. And I was like,
So I started buying the collections in 2016. And in those collections were some adults, So we started like breeding and stuff for very first year of even having that stuff. Now I had snakes way back. When my daughter was born is when I got rid of those.
29 years ago.
Yeah, 28 years ago.
29. She'll be 29 tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. But I never bred or anything. I just had pets back then, Yeah.
I mean?
So anyways, in those very first year of collections, I did get this one pied that looked a little different, and it was possibly an orange dream or something, but I never got any orange dreams out of it. I think that's where the gene came from. I think that might have had the gene in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the original tornadoes came from a triple het to triple het, which pied was one of those hets in both snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I bred that to a pastel desert ghost, just trying to make, double het DG pieds.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, so the very first clutch I got out of that, I ended up with 4 females and maybe 1 or 2 males. I can't remember. So I kept the pastel male and I kept the 4 females back. Okay, so now these are all double het DG pieds.
Who has the 6th male?
Probably a pet shop. I think that stuff got wholesale to Joe Fossey, which Joe Fossey sends them out to pet shops somewhere.
Somewhere in Homosassa Springs, there's a het tornado cruising the.
Well, so those would only be 66% anyways.
I know. I'm just yeah.
All right, so now I got 4 girls and at least 1 male. Okay, so the male was pastel. The 4 girls. So the next year, I bred that male to one of the girls. Was it one of the girls? Somehow I ended up with a pastel desert ghost, and then I had it shed tested for pied. So it came back positive for pied. So that was my new breeder. So the original 4 girls I have still.
Yep.
Now I have a new male. So the new male is a pastel desert ghost het pied. Still trying to make desert ghost pieds. So then 2024, that new male, I bred to 2 of those girls. And both girls each one gave me a pastel, what we think is tornado, and the other one gave me the normal tornado.
Wow.
And then I got a bunch of desert ghosts and stuff like that. So all the tornado stuff that I have is also 100% het desert ghost on top of it. Now I still have the other 2 females. One of them is a pied, and that was from the 2nd generation. So she is a pied het desert ghost. 66, or that one's going to be pos het tornado. And then I still have one of the original sisters from the first 2 that proved out to be 100%. So I possibly have 2 more females that I'm trying to breed this season to see.
So those 2 pieds from you that I have, where's that fit? And so should I be breeding their babies right back to them?
No, those aren't from there.
I was just gonna joke.
They would have been het desert ghost or pos het desert ghost.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that actually, doesn't sound as nice after the whole tornado talk, but that would be cool if those.
I'm saying if you got those from me, you would also known that they would have been het desert ghost or pos het desert ghost.
I don't have them marked that way, but
I would have kept all the females of those anyways. So.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving you a hard time.
You know how many people has reached out? Hey, is there?
What about this one? Can you go back? Yeah, I'm sure.
When you just said the whole thing about where's that 6th one out, and he's like probably in a pet store, I'm like thinking to myself, oh great, here come the messages now.
Right.
I got this at a Petco. Is this it? That's what I was thinking in my head.
Well, usually when people say it couldn't happen to anybody better people, they're being smart. But hey, I think you've done your time you put in this year, so you may as well get something nice out of it, right? Out of this year.
Let's hope, right?
Yeah. So all joking aside, so you've got, I think you said 2 males or 1 male?
I got 2 males.
2 males. And then how many either visual or pos het on the females do you have?
I don't have any visual tornado females at all, but I do have several desert ghosts that are pos het tornado females that I'm keeping all the stuff. Everything. I'm just going to wait and hang on to it all.
Yeah.
And I have the 2 females that produced the 2 males that I have now, which are breeding this year again, same pairings. And those are all triple het tornado desert ghost pieds. I have 2 males that are desert ghost pieds One of them is very high white, so it's really hard to see pattern, but the coloration on those are a little different. So
it's kind of weird. They're almost like, if you see them in person, the pictures don't do them nearly any justice. They're like a gold color.
Yeah, the one
it's really
so
bright.
the one Desert Ghost Pied almost looks like a Super OD DG Pied or something. But I don't know if it's the coloration influence, maybe, because it could be the head tornado, or I'm saying tornado. We really, until I breed it to a known tornado and make tornadoes, then we really don't know, but we're pretty confident that it is that gene. But,
yeah.
I'm just saying tornado, but I've never bred it to another tornado before. So,
oh yeah. Well,
you're lost of words. Look at you.
No, I know. Well, I was thinking, because you called it. I
still
thought one thing and then I thought another, and that's exactly what the long version of being at a loss for words is. So do you have like an arrangement with somebody with a known tornado to try and set something up over the next year or two? Or are you going to acquire one, or what's your plan?
I did have somebody reach out to me, someone well-known that everybody knows. I don't want to say who it is because I don't know if they want to.
Right. No, that's okay.
Yep. But I did. Yeah. Somebody did offer that. One of my males is about 500 grams. So this season coming, I should be able to, start breeding and making hets or whatever. I even have, I hate to say I have a waiting list, but I have people that are waiting in line for some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Even hets. I have a waiting list for hets. If it, I just wanted, before I start releasing anything, I just want to do it again this year. And having two different ones from two females that are related pretty much says it is, but I'd feel better selling $30,000, $40,000 snakes, making more instead of, just having the two and then all of a sudden not being able to make any more. I don't know. It's kind of weird to say. I'd hate to sell something and it not be it, even though we're pretty confident. Everybody I've talked to, even top guys, said they're pretty confident that it is.
Yeah. Well, in some ways,
like
I was going to say, if it looks that cool, almost doesn't matter what we call it. Like if it, you know what I mean? Like I realize, but at that point, then it's just a marketing play that tornado's been labeled cool, but this other thing that may or may not be. It was like the whole like Zebra Mackenzie thing. And I get it if like a lot of people were like, I told you all along it didn't look like it. To some people it did. But why did they buy Mackenzie? Did they only buy Mackenzie because they thought it was zebra? Or did they buy it because it was a cool visual thing on their own, which is the reason to buy it, So anyway, what I'm saying is I think it's cool either way. Have you allowed yourself to toy with like a backup name in case you get to name this cool thing?
Well, the first one I hatched out was the pastel version. And if you look at the regular tornado, it looks so much different. The pastel like adds a lot more, like it almost looks like a monsoon with a bunch of paradoxing or something.
Someone once said monsoon on crack.
Yeah.
They kind of explain.
Kind of what I thought monsoon was already. I thought it was there.
Do you know who Blake Bishop is?
I don't.
Okay, so it was actually, I think at Daytona, he came up to the table. He's seen it. I had it on display, the pastel one, before I made the other one. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm pretty sure it was him, but he's like, man, that looks like what would be a tornado. You might want to check into that. If I was to guess what a pastel tornado looks like, I think that's what it would be. And he told me that. I'm like, all right. And then I looked at tornado. I'm like, yeah, there's no way.
You're like, yeah, that's nice of you to say. Yeah, thanks.
Another person said that, that could be a pied. Sometimes pieds, you get weird patterns with the pastel,
the weird smear. Yeah.
And he goes, that might be just a very no white pied or whatever, And then when that person saw it, he's a well-known person too. And when he saw the second one from the sister come out, he's like, oh, for sure that's tornado. And then he said the other one is a pastel tornado.
Huh.
So
is Blake the guy that does a lot with Barry?
Barry Swope?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's
he's Jack's Or no, he doesn't
Well,
work with Jack.
He's Justin's friend though, Morph Jungle.
Justin Weinrich, yeah. But
I do know who I do know who he is. He
they're
he vents a lot with Justin.
he did in
He
the
used
past.
to,
I think
yeah.
he had
Yeah.
like lizards and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I think that's
Younger,
that guy.
younger
yeah.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, dark hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He's been around for a little bit, so.
Keith says, how would you describe the look of the tornado? I know that we could go Google it, but since you're here, maybe you can save us the trouble.
Are you able to pull up any pictures on Instagram?
I'm sure. I don't know if I know. Yeah, actually, I'm sure I can.
It's not a granite. One person said it's kind of granity, and then there's so many different granite genes. It's a pattern mutating gene.
That's like the new when you can't describe it, you're like, oh, it's kind of granity. All right, I'm going through your your page. Oh, I said, never mind. I was like, I don't know if I'll know it. Yeah, I know it. Okay, here we go.
You'll know it.
Yeah, you'll know it. All right, let me see if I can share this or not. Oh yeah. Wait, that's the one? I thought that's the non-pastel one, right?
That's the normal.
One. Now, if you Google tornado ball python, it looks identical to this.
They look.
Let me see if I can find
like
a pastel.
Very similar.
How about that? Is that sharing on the screen now?
That's the pastel one.
Okay, so that's the crazy pastel one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It does almost look like it has those paradoxes where like pastels wash that. Man, what did
you know what else?
What's that?
They're all possible. I have to get them tested, but they're all possible cryptic too. So I could have a pastel, or I could have a desert ghost cryptic tornado pied at the end of the day.
So crazy.
But I'll have to get the stuff tested for cryptic. I would say at least one of the two mothers or the father, because they're 50% het. I would imagine at least one of those would be. So I'll have to get those shed tested through Charlie at shedtesting.com.
I was going to say, I would bet even the shed testing guys are banging down your door for the sheds. No,
they're not. No, I talked to some people about it, and they're not going to do the shed testing on this because there's not going to be enough customers that would want it, or there's not going to be enough visual examples to send in.
Yeah, even that's true. Yeah, there is the old man. Everything comes back to supply and demand, right? We're like, wouldn't that be cool? And we're like, yeah, let's dump 3 years of research into this. So who can use it? Oh, 3 of you? No.
Right.
You touched on it really briefly. Chris at 319 Reptiles says, how did the potential tornado make it into your collection? You mentioned you had it since like 2016. I don't know if you want to say like,
it was just through a bunch of line breeding, man. There was a lot of incest going on there. I was just trying to make.
No, where did you get it? Where did the first one come from? It didn't just fall out of the sky into your snake room. Where did that one come from?
It did.
One of the early collections is the only thing I can think of. I bought in one of the earlier collections. I ended up having this pied.
That you did say that. Oh, how crazy would it be that the person that sold their collection had the pet tornado?
Yeah, so the pied was like a high white, and it looked like it was OD or something, but I never got any Orange Dream stuff out of it. And before anybody asks, unfortunately, that pied did pass, so it's not out there. So if anybody's wondering if they ended up with that in one of my adult sales or something, it's unfortunately one of the clutches that it never got back on food and passed. So,
you could check your notes and just say that maybe I have one. I could use some sales these days. I could have some females available if anybody were interested here.
You know what? Actually, I think
that turns out.
I like what Sundog Josh said. If it's not tornado, I'll pay you $1,000 to name it Sundog.
Yeah, you could bid the name. Oh, that's the next level of auctions where you start bidding like gene naming. That's what we'll do.
Or Godson. Isn't that Sundog backwards? Godson?
Godness.
Yeah.
Same thing, totally different. Whatever.
I don't know if I could pronounce it that way.
Godness.
Now, if they change their names to Stun Dog, then you could have God. Then you could call it God Nuts. Which
what I'm going to do,
God nuts is pretty powerful, really, when you think about it there.
I'm going to do like NASCAR, so if it is not tornado, I'm just going to put little stickers and just have people like put their logos, and I'll put stickers all over the snake, and they could pay me for.
Do you see the screen that you're on here? Come on, man. That model's already taken, brother.
Yeah, but it's going to be on the snake though.
Just tattoo the snake with
oh my gosh,
with logos. Speaking of the logos, let's pay some bills really quick and stick around, audience. I got to talk to the Bauds about if we're going to see them at Tinley, what they're going to bring to Tinley, and if we can all hang out here. So we'll get to that in just a second. We talked about shedtesting.com tonight. If you're not using Charlie at Shed Testing, you should. If you don't even know what I'm talking about with Shed Testing, you can test your snakes' sheds for currently over 32 different listed genes on shedtesting.com website. But if there's a gene that you're interested in knowing about, just shoot Charlie a email or an Instagram message. He has lots more tests that he does have available and will take care of you on, or he'll give you an update on where the research is at, that sort of thing. You can use the promo code proper15, get yourself 15% off of any 2 orders of shed tests. And in those orders, you can order as many single individual shed tests as you want. So, if you got a pile of them, make the order all at once, get yourself 15% off on that. You can do that twice. Then when you do that, the next time that you sell some babies, because you got some cool hets for sale and all that good stuff, you can use REDLINE shipping to move those animals safely across this country. REDLINE shipping is there for you from a customer service standpoint. These are reptile people helping you move your animals. And this time of year when the weather's like this, they're just incredible resource. I don't know if you guys saw the episode. I think it was only last week, actually, with Ed Kamara. He's from REDLINE. Really insightful, and you can see the kind of people that they have working for them. Use the promo code PROPER5. If you haven't used that promo code, well, I mean, go for it. We always want new people coming in and checking out REDLINE. But regardless, you might come for the discount. You'll stay for the experience and the service. So check them out. RGen Reptiles, that is Robbie Richard in Greer, South Carolina. Robbie is focusing on clown combo ingredients, but also including genes like zebra, DG, and currently on Morph Market, there is a DG zebra, and I believe it's het clown, but there's a combo on there, and he's got all sorts of ingredients for clown, DG, and zebra combos. You can join his free email list. Doesn't cost anything. If you go to rgenreptiles.com, you're going to get first dibs on any new animals that he makes available. And those high-end doubles and triples are kind of the norm for Robbie. There's not the, you're not going to get the Proper Royals Enchi Banana special there at RGen Reptiles. So go check that out. He's also got a YouTube channel if you want to get to know him. Great guy to do business with. He has been a proud supporter for coming up on a year now. And we previously had done some business, and we still talk about business and kick around business ideas privately as well. So check out Robbie when you get a chance. Portuguese Pythons, that's Danny and Renee Rocha. They just keep banging out cool stuff. If you go to my Instagram, you can see a perfect example of the kind of customer service and the breeders that they are. I got an Ultramel Pied project from them about a year and a half ago now. All along the way, when they first sold it to me, they told me that, there might be something in here. We think maybe it's a hurricane. We're not 100% sure. The offspring, they still look a little odd, but it was in with Mojave and with blackhead, so they weren't sure. They tested the parents. A year and a half later, they remember that I have one of the animals. They send me a note. Hey, just so you know, it proved positive for it. And then tonight, right before the show, the offspring that I wanted to have tested, Charlie just messaged me and said it is positive for hurricane as well. So pretty cool story, but that's the kind of people that they are. Right now, they've got some amazing Ultramel combos, Ultramel Clown combos as well, puzzle projects, Hypo DG, VPI projects as well. with nice dark genes like Blackhead, Het Red Xanthic, and GHI in the mix. So go check them out. Great people to do business with. Trevor at Ball Labs in Aurora, Colorado. Trevor likes working with high-end genes, as well as like some forgotten classics, like genes that maybe didn't really take off in their day and then really didn't get thought of. Like, what happens if we start mixing those genes into some of the combos now, and what happens? And that's something that Trevor does. But he's also working projects like Puzzle, Ultramel Clown, VPI Axanthic, Tri-Stripe Monsoon, Zebra, and Sunset. I think you guys know I like doing business with people that I'm confident in how they do business. And Trevor here's a great example. Trevor is a licensed rodent breeder in Colorado. Colorado laws state that if you're going to breed and sell rodents, you have to have a license for that. And there's a handful of licensed breeders. I like 6, I heard at the last count. So he's doing it the right way. He's working within the system to improve the system. And he is inspected and licensed. So that trickles down to how he handles his animals as well. Check him out and stay tuned on, go follow them, go follow Ball Labs. He and Critical Hit Exotics will be starting their own podcasted show in the next couple of weeks. They're also going to be on Palm Street doing an auction. If you look on their Instagram page, you can see where that's at as well. So in all of that, the message is Ball Labs. Go check out Ball Labs. Last but not least is Chris at B and S Reptilia, the original sponsor of Proper Royals, still here, hand in hand, side by side, business together. We do vend Tinley together. That's my Tinley business partner, and we do own a couple pretty cool animals together as well. Chris is B and S Reptilia because, of course, there's the ball pythons, but there's also blood pythons, locality boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes. Pituophis, if that means something to you, that's the bull and the pine snakes. And he is also the regional distributor for the chipper in Pennsylvania. And he is working directly with Chris Davenport on finding more regional distributors for the chipper. If you're interested in that business model or that business opportunity, check with Chris on that as well. Go support these sponsors. They literally keep the lights on. I won't share numbers and that stuff, but I was thinking today how thankful that I am for both the sponsors and the Patreon members. They really keep me going here, especially when it's so cold and you can't ship. And when you can't ship, people don't want to buy all of that. I need January to move on. So thanks to everybody. Tonight we're here with Jeremy and Genie Baud from Bauds Exotic Reptiles. So are you guys going to be back at Tinley in March?
Yep.
Yes.
Most excellent.
We will be there.
And we'll still have our tables.
Good for you. Yeah, they didn't put any pressure on you after the hurricanes, right?
No, they were good,
wonderful.
but I've heard some stories that people were trying to snag our tables from us. But,
I bet it's ruthless. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, good for, you know what, like so many promoters, and especially the biggest, the bigger the spotlight, the bigger the logo, the bigger the pressure that people get, and the more smack people talk. Like, good for them for looking out for you, and not because they could have taken somebody else's checks, they could have taken somebody else's money. Not that you guys aren't good for it, but
so Bob Ashley, I called him, and he was actually down here a couple days before the second hurricane. We're like, hey, we can't make it. He goes, I understand, man. I'm here now. We're evacuating because they're evacuating. He was here for that. What's that thing they do down here?
Animal Con.
Yeah, he was here for that.
Yeah.
And he's like, 100%. Just remind me, send me an email with your paid tables, and we'll rent the tables out this time, but they're yours for the next time, and we'll put them, put it towards the next show and all that. So they were great. So
Excellent.
We appreciate that during that time.
Yeah, for sure. And like I say, they get a lot of heat, but they're the biggest known for a reason.
So
yeah.
What's that?
I said Bob Ashley and
Brian
Potter
Potter.
have nothing been good to us. So
yep, likewise. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I got those of y'all that don't know in the audience, I lived in Florida until I moved here about a year and a half ago to Minnesota. But there was this really cool scene in Florida, and you all were in the middle of it. But there's Dale and there's Steve and there's George MD and all these guys that everybody will go out to dinner after the shows, and they're all 2-day shows. So we all like hunker down together. And if a lot of the shows are in somebody's hometown, so they know where to go for the dinner or whatever. I miss that scene because we don't have, for whatever reason, in the Midwest, all these shows are just 1-day shows. Tinley's the only 2-day show that I have in the whole year. Everything else is a 1-day show.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
And all of our shows are just 2 days. We don't do 1-day shows. We don't have any.
I think there is a couple here. We just don't do them.
We just don't bend them. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what's kind of cool. You say it's a lot of work for 1 day, and it is. However, you don't have those slow times. You don't have those slow, like, it'll pick up in a little bit. It is just boom. It goes right to it. I make the money. And honestly, I make the money in the 1 day that I would have in 2 days. And you save on a lot of these. I've got it whittled down now where the only hotels that I pay for now are Tinley, and then I get a hotel in Fargo. It's too far to drive there and back, but everything else is there and back in 1 day. So it's one crazy long day, but you've made your money. You got the day. I was going to say you got the day after to recuperate. They're all on Sundays too, which is weird. So you vend. Yeah. I know it all seemed really weird to me.
Yeah, I thought the 1 day would be a Saturday if anything.
No, they're all that way across all the promoters. All the promoters are that way. I don't know what it is. It's not just one promoter doing it that way. So, but I've come to really like it, and I like the ones. All of them are within 3 to 4 hours, so I can get there, I can vend, and I can be done, and get back home. So I do like that. It saves on hotels and overhead and all of that. So, but I miss the whole point of saying all that was I miss the hangout. I miss, like, if anybody can, if you want to know, like, where you can learn the most and get, like, into an in-person community, is figure out, I mean, obviously be good to the community and figure out how you could support the community around you. But if you could do it the right way and you can get an invite to one of these dinners, which are not as exclusive as they seem. If you hear somebody's going to one, ask if you could tag along. They're good people. Man, the stuff that you learn, and you could just sit there quietly like that. I just remember I was like petrified. I was like, I can't believe. I was like looking around. I'm like, that's him. There's them. That's so-and-so, and you learn and you do business and you get, I won't say who, and because I know people get up in arms about this, but sometimes, there's breeders going, I got a box of 20 snakes over here. I need to get, if somebody would just make me an offer, I need to get them gone. I'm like, what are they? And I'm like, those are your wholesales. Those would be my holdbacks. I'm like, all right, let's talk, because I'm going to make some investments. Like, that's where a lot of my investment snakes came from, was just.
We're talking GE, huh?
There might be a GE. There might be an SC. I still make phone calls to people that were at those tables when I hear that they're coming to Tinley or something. I'm like, I can't promise, but why don't you shoot me a list, So it's really great opportunity. There's always somebody that's ahead of you that doesn't need or doesn't want something that's still exciting to you and your customers that are growing. So I loved those dinners. And that's where I met guys like Dale that gave me the first shot at vending with him. That's where I got some vending experience under my belt. And I still look back, because I was just a stranger. Like, a stranger asked me, I'm going to be like, I got to know you a little bit. Dale was like, Dale, he's so laid back. He's like,
yeah, he is.
Yeah,
they're all great people.
Yeah, you can come vend. I'm like, all right, cool. And like, I was so excited, man. It was a cool time. And I missed that scene. I really, really miss it. So I love seeing when some of you guys come up to Tinley. You got to get Dale and George to come back up. They quit after one show.
And that was a long drive, I think, for them.
Yeah, I know George wasn't happy at all about it. I won't say anything more, but George was like, I'm not coming back here. So what's are you going to bring the tornadoes with you?
Probably not.
Too risky.
Too far. Yeah.
They're not for sale, and I'm not going to, 7-hour drive back and forth with those.
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
I was debating bringing something I've got, and I was like, that's only 6 hours. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to bring it. Maybe I will.
I might bring them to Daytona. Just show them off. It's not so bad.
Well, you did the one time.
I brought the pastel one, but the other one is what really put the nail or, you know,
Yeah.
Sealed it.
Yeah. So
We will have geckos, probably some pectinatas,
boas,
about a few boas left, and all
some
pythons.
white lace clowns and het clowns and stuff like that. So
Nice. And people could get on, people could call you ahead of time and seal those
Oh,
up.
yeah,
Or yeah, you can always make deposits, right? And
Yep.
secure animals. Jeannie, what about your Euromastics? Anything going on with those? That room you had for them
right
was
now
beautiful.
they're mating on and off right now. It's cold right now, so their breeding season will be coming up here in the next couple months.
Did we haven't talked about your Euromastics in a long time anyway. Have you had any babies? You've had any success breeding them? You just haven't.
We tried last
We tried
season.
last season, and they
failed.
were, well, I wouldn't say failed because
We had babies.
Then we failed. No, I call it a learning experience. Okay. And not only that, but they were just at the right age for breeding. So it was their first year.
Sure. Okay. Gotcha.
And they're not like ball pythons where, oh, let's just throw them in there and, you know, leave them be. You have to sit there and you have to watch them. So
why do you have to watch them? Will they kill each other, or will one? Yeah,
it's either F or F. It's one or the other. So you gotta fight or the other. So.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll kill one another sometimes, and you know, it can be a little brutal when they breed. So you just got to monitor them. So we would be sitting there in the room for like 25 minutes watching these two lizards run around the cage or do whatever they got to do.
Put some music on, lower the lights. Like, come on, you two, let's go. Here's a little martini, margarita.
There was one pair that was close to locking, but they didn't quite I think they just didn't quite get
teenagers.
it.
Yeah, they were like, we don't know what we're doing, really. We say we do, but we got no clue what we're doing.
One was like, show me yours and I'll show you mine. And the other one's like, I'm not showing you mine yet. Wait next year.
I'm a little scared. Yeah, I don't really, I thought I would know, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So we're hoping this year is what's gonna hopefully produce some babies here.
How many do you have? Am I thinking like 16 or 18?
Oh no, I only have 7 of those. That's a lot to care for as far as Euros.
They need big enclosures.
Yeah, they need large enclosures. So
breeding,
we have 4 females and 3 males.
Okay, maybe that's why I thought you had more. Because I remember the big.
It's that whole room.
Yeah, the big desert scapes. Yeah, it is a whole room. So I was thinking there was a little bit more in there. Okay. And then you said the species pectinatas, but what are pectinatas? What are we doing here? What are we saying?
Well, they're
Mexican
the
spiny tails.
Yeah,
Mexican spiny tails.
They're the pieds, the black and white.
And are those the ones I remember at Tinley one year you had them and they were just like flipping over like little ninjas all over. Like, would you have 25, 30 of them in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're down to like 7 now, right? 7 or 8.
Something like that. We don't have many left.
She had 49 eggs.
Well, no, she had 50 something eggs and 49 hatched.
Oh yeah, 54 and I think 49 hatched.
Still from the same clutch you're talking about? You have 7 left?
No. Those are all gone. This is all.
That's the same clutch. We have 7 left.
Oh, all right.
Because they just hatched at the end of July. So we have 7.
So those aren't the ones that I saw at Tinley though, because that would be okay.
Those are all sold.
That's a different clutch. Okay. Will you have more babies by March?
No.
Just the ones. We still have 7 left over that we'll be bringing.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
If we still have those 7, I don't know.
We've been getting a couple of messages on Morph Market today about pectinatas. So
okay. It's amazing the market that's out there, the consumers that are out there for just everything. I've just since I've started this journey and like really like dove into entrepreneurship, I'm like, don't worry about where the customers are. Just make the very best stuff that you can and present your brand the very best that you can, because they're out there. It is absolutely incredible. What a great example on that. What about you guys have some tortoises? I thought I saw you guys digging out eggs and stuff. Not recently, but not too long ago.
Yeah, so we lost one of the incubators. I thought I said it earlier.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
So we had 20 or 30 tortoise eggs, and we had I think 30 rhino eggs. And and none of those obviously made it because the incubator fell over. So we would have had at least some of the rhino eggs to bring with us.
I mean, who would have guessed
rhinos,
that
but,
everything would have floated?
Yeah,
literally everything.
Yeah, we didn't think that was going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
I have some boas. I have 4 boas left. I had my very first boa litter this season.
Oh, you've had boas for a long time. I mean, you had them the very first time I came to your house.
Yeah, I grow them up slow.
We have had them as little babies.
Yeah, I got them as hatchlings, and I grow them up slow. Are they called hatchlings? Because they don't hatch.
They're babies. They're babies.
Okay, so boa babies.
They hatch inside the mom, right? That's technically what they do, right? Like they
I guess
they're in eggs and they hatch though. Like, because don't they pass eggshells too or not?
No, it's sacks.
No, sacks,
Not a shell, but like sacks. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sometimes they could be in the sack when they have the litter.
But she had 12 of them, and we're down to 4.
Yeah, I kept 2 though. I kept the male and female, so technically 6.
Gotcha.
4 for sale.
Yeah.
Any I know localities are a really big thing with boas, and any history on that, or they're just boas?
No, so we have 2 of them are a male and a female. So it's IMG, jungle, hypo jungle IMG, double het, type 1 anery, and blood. So they're double hets for blood and anery.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of those questions I ask. I'm like, you could have been like, well, you got the Johnsons and the the universe. This one's het universe. It's going to be pretty good. Okay.
Well, the other one is het kaleidoscope,
right, yeah.
Oh my.
And a visual Mickey Mouse. I have no idea on those.
We're hoping
to learn. I do try and learn. You're what?
Follicles and the other female.
Oh yeah, so I'm breeding a different boa this year, different set. So the boas you breed every other year. At least that's what my mentor says.
Give him a break.
And that's what I'm gonna follow what he does because he's been pretty. It's Richard Delbano with Da Vinci boa.
Yeah.
So when I listen to everything he says, he does pretty good at it. So
I would say, yeah.
But I palpated the other boa the other day and felt 10 in her for her first mom. So
do you not ultrasound? You do
you can, but I've ultrasound them, the other one that gave me the litter, but
you just happen to be clean.
I just happened to be feeding, and then the one girl refused, which is very rare for a boa to do that.
Right.
So then I just went ahead and palpated her just for the hell of it, because I had the male in there for a while with her, and I separated them to feed them, and she just refused, and it's rare for that to happen. So she just has the follicles, and that's why, because she has no room for food, I guess, or whatever. And I don't feed them that much during breeding. Some people don't. They don't feed them for like 3 or 4 months during breeding season for the boas. They just.
And those you keep together. You like it's 1-to-1, right? You just put them together for the
1 male to 1 female. I've heard of them people doing 1 male to 2 females if they've been around for a while, or But I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to just do 1-to-1.
We just have a small collection to have a different variety of a snake on the table, and some things that we actually really like. We like the morphs that we bought, or the genes. So
when you said people don't put all 3 of them together, they would rotate the male to the females. Is that correct? If they were to, yeah.
I don't even know how they would do it, but I would imagine they would have to do it like that. They're okay. Gotta be. And it's a timing thing too, from what I understand. And I don't know too much about, like I do with the ball pythons, but it's like you can miss the when she's ovulating, you can miss that litter happening if the male's not in her at the time.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't know if it's during the ovulation or something, but the male's got to be in there at a certain. Like, I was told not to take the male out until after she ovulates.
Right.
And someone else told me that even after they have the first shed after the ovulation, then you pull the male out. Or what Richard was telling me, if the male is like swimming around the tub trying to escape, then the job's done. Then you pull him out. I'm still learning a lot. I only had my first litter. I was successful at that. So I'm not a professional. So if anybody's trying to learn how to do this, don't listen to what I'm
Right.
saying.
We're done with the educational part of the show.
Yeah.
What's your next show that you're doing? Is it you have shows between now and Tinley? Yeah.
We have Tampa next month.
Tampa. Any in Orlando coming up?
No, we just did one. What was it? Not last weekend, but the weekend before.
Gotcha. And then where's all the places people can find you online if they want to come follow you, support you, buy from you? Where's a good place to find you?
Mostly Instagram and Morph Market.
I have been slacking on my Morph Market, so I have probably 30% listed. I've just been
a little busy on the
house. I could sit here and give you excuses. I've just been busy doing other stuff, you know.
Why don't you stay focused and work hard, Jeremy? I don't understand why you can't just put a little dedication into your craft, you know. For those of y'all just tuning in, that's obviously a joke. It's a reference to the hurricane repairs that he's still going through, that they are still going through. All right. So, and when's that Tampa show?
It's February. What is that date?
Sarah knows. Come on, Sarah, put it in there.
February 22nd and 23rd.
Okay. Go see Bauds Exotic Reptiles at the Tampa show, but do yourself a favor. If you could get to the Tampa show, go. It's a great show. It's, to me, it's just a tier below, Daytona and the national and ARBCs, but otherwise I always found it the best show in Florida. It's a big show. There's good breeders there. There's people that you recognize. All those people on that I-4 corridor are there, just doing killer stuff. So go check that out. And please go follow Bauds Exotic Reptiles on Instagram and on the Morph Market. You can follow Morph Market stores, you guys know. So check that out. Jeremy and Jeannie, I'm so glad to see you. I'm glad I told you guys in the green room. I'll tell the audience too, but just seeing that you had your kitchen counter back, I think it's one of those things we take for granted. Nobody thinks like what life is like without a kitchen counter and
or a sink.
Oh my gosh. More practically with no sink.
Washing dishes in the bathtub for months.
Oh my gosh. None of us think about that, man.
Brand new bathtub though. It was brand new.
Oh man. Well, I hope I'm glad it's improving. I hope it continues to improve. Thanks for everything you guys have ever done for the community, particularly myself included. Thanks. I'm so glad that the community was there to help you a little bit. And I'm whatever forces of nature are out there that decide to plop a tornado in your lap, I'm glad that happened too. I mean it. I'm happy for you. So
thank you.
Stick around for just a minute so that I could say goodnight appropriately. Audience, thanks for joining. Come back next week. Beauty and the Balls will be here next week. And otherwise, stay safe, stay warm. Double check before you go shipping any animals and that stuff, whether it's Redline or anybody else who want the animals to be safe. But take care of those. Take care of your customers. And I'll see you guys next week. Cheers, everybody.
See you guys. Thanks.
Bye.